Hi, Dr. Saxena here, and coming to the things what we have been discussing, and I can always tell you, you need to empower yourself, and this is one of the things which I've been always talking about. You need to discover what are the things which are happening. Last segment I was talking about high fructose corn syrup, and I just want to talk on something about GMOs. What are these GMOs? Genetically modified organisms. What are the truths about this GMO? If you are a avid shopper, I'm sure if you are careful while choosing the foods or fruits and all that, what you are taking, you must have come across this is GMO free or this is GMO, no GMOs and all that. And you know what is this GMO? It's genetically modified organisms. So what are exactly these GMOs? From where they are? What are they doing in the food supplies? See, GMOs basically are a product of genetic engineering, meaning their genetic makeup has been altered to induce the variety of unique traits to crops, such as making them drought resistant, giving them more nutrients. Currently, there are more 85% of corn, 90% of soybeans, and more than 80% of cotton are genetically modified. I'm talking about a worldwide perspective. Estimate 80% of the processed foods now contain GM ingredients. The GMO proponents claim that genetic engineering is safe and beneficial and that it advances the agriculture industry. They also say the GMO help ensure the global food supply and sustainability. But are there there are any truths in this particular thing? I don't think it's true. I think GMOs pose one of the greatest threats to life in the planet. Genetic engineering is not safe, and beneficial technology that is to be touted for. I would like to share the real story behind genetic engineering. What is this particular thing? You need to know what are this. Genetically modified organisms are live organisms whose genetic components have been artificially manipulated in a laboratory setting through creating unstable combinations of plant, animal, bacteria, and even viral genes that do not occur in the nature through the traditional crossbreeding methods. So the biggest GMO technology has been on the large scale agricultural crops. In an effort to control pests, crops are genetically engineered to either produce pesticide with their own tissue or be herbicide or pesticide resistant. When you talk about Monsanto's beet cotton, is equipped with the gene from the soil bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, which produces Bt toxin, a pesticide that breaks open the stomach of certain insects and kills them. This pesticide producing GM corn entered the food supply in the late 1990s, but it wasn't until 2003 that the beet cotton corn that kills western cotton rootworm was commercialized. So this corn rootworm is one of the most devastating pests to corn crops, and it has historically been managed in conventional farming by crop rotation and the use of insecticides applied to the soil. With corn, use of such insecticides were supposed to be curbed. But 10 years later, there is to everybody's dismay, there was something like resistance, which was pests were already developing resistance to GM corn and other serious consequences are being uncovered. Big things, potentially damaging pesticide residues which come along with novel allergenic proteins and all that. See, they enter the kind of whatever we are consuming has got something like pesticide residues in that. From where these pesticide things are coming, We believe that there is some kind of GMO crops is one of the reasons for these pesticides. And another thing is this GMO crops are herbicide tolerant or genetically engineered to withstand direct application of glyphosate, the active ingredient of Monsanto potent herbicide Roundup. This these are all Roundup ready crops. Because of the massive production of these GMO crops in the developing countries, the use of glyphosate, which is quite prevalent here in this part of the world, as the world's most used herbicide, has continuously risen over the years. I can always tell you this is one of the, it has been the people here in this part, they use 8 to 10 times more of glyphosate which is normally required. So this was the pioneering work of Stephanie Seneff, which showed she was a research scientist from MIT, and she has done extensive studies on this topic, and she believes glyphosate is one of the key culprits in the development of multiple chronic diseases which are prevalent in the society now. It can be something like autism to wide range of allergies, cancer, Parkinson's disease, GIT disease like chronic inflammatory bowel disorders, infertility, Alzheimer's disease, and multiple sclerosis. So this is one thing which I would want you people to understand. And when we talk about our diet and all that, precautions and all, most of the autoimmune diseases, we believe, we tell them not to use this corn, soybean, and all stuff. And yes, I want to go one extent further. I would like normal people also to hesitate to taking that particular things, because this has got a lot to do with not just GMO. Then you can always keep a check on your hair kind of thing, because once you start using this corn, I'm sure your health is going to deteriorate, and there will be a, see, we are talking about brinjal, beet brinjal, beet tomatoes. There are so many things which is causing this problem. And the kind of thing is this genetically modified kind of food is absolutely, I think this is not a correct thing. And all of you, I mean to say, all of the people who are looking to uh, look, they want to see that they are optimally healthy, and they don't want to get into any kind of disease and all that, they should look into this particular thing, because this is one of the things which is really causing a big dent in the health industry. And I can always tell you, there are some things like you have to be careful. What are the ingredients, food ingredients? You have something like corn flour, you have got something like corn gluten, you have got corn maize, corn starch, you have got corn meal, you have got high fructose corn syrup. All these things are having a heavily laden GMO foods. You have got something like soy flour, you have got soy lecithin, you have got soy protein, soy isolate, and soy isoflavone. Again, this also is a, again, something like processed vegetable oils like canola oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, rapeseed oil. These are all contains. You need to be careful about this particular thing, because this is derived from this GMO crops. And this is I can go on and on, but I'm really worried about the people who are talking these days about, see, this is this biotech industry GMO didn't stop at the only the food crops. You had something like now a genetically engineered recombinant bovine growth hormone, which is injected in the cows to increase the milk production. RBGH is the synthetic version of natural bovine somatotropin, which is a hormone produced in cows' pituitary glands. So this Monsanto developed this recombinant version from the genetically engineered E. coli bacteria and marketed under the um, trade name as Posilac. It's presently banned in around 30 countries, except here. I can always tell you this is one of the reasons it causes so much problem. It's one of the reasons why there is so much increased risk. People are getting into colorectal cancer, people are getting into prostate cancer, breast cancer, and because this by promoting conversion of normal tissues into cancerous tissues, this is the reason basically. See, it is not safe for human consumption. Recombinant bovine growth hormone, which is injected to the cows to increase the milk yield, and if we are taking that particular thing, what happens is that there are some things which gets spiked up in your thing. There is a insulin like growth factors which increases, and consequently your likely chances to get into cancer increases. So to protect you and your family from possible consequences of this toxic chemical, look for RBGH free labels when buying milk. I'm sure we are not having these particular things here. We need to trust on the kind of local farmer who is obtaining the fresh raw milk from his pasture raised hormone free cows. I think that will be the good things when we can take up that particular stuff. So, having said that about all these tips, I just want to. This is one of the big things. I think I can go on and on, but I can always tell you, GMO. Say no to GMO. There is a big chances you get into some nasty problems. It can be something like uh, as simple as you can always get into something like autoimmune disease, so many small things which you may not know, or you can get into some kind of malignancy and all that. So this is one thing. Always I've been the health dangers of glyphosate. I've been talking in a different video also. I was talking about health dangers of glyphosate, and I believe this is one thing which everyone should know, because this glyphosate has links with a lot of chronic diseases what we have described, from right from autism, allergies, cancer, inflammatory bowel diseases. You have got multiple sclerosis, obesity, depression, Alzheimer's, and whatnot. So I strongly suggest how the glyphosate residue in your food is related to this long term ailments have increased. See, the health problems have gone up because of this particular stuff, and believe we need to work it out. Where when we fight about when we have to work it out, we need to work as a doctor. We try to work on doing detoxification with the glyphosate and all that, but that is a 3 months to 6 months program we work on our clinic, and it's not easy, but we try to work it out, and that's the way we start getting the results. But at the same time, I want all of you should definitely look into what is at least look for the label GMO free. Then you can always go for the buy your products and all that. Particularly, look for that milk which is recombinant bovine growth hormone free, that label, as well as GMO free. These are the two things you should always look whenever you are shopping, as you are trying to look at any purchasing any item of these things. Thank you.